Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show. Yours truly, Puma, with Black Thor and Ice Water. Talking sports this week. Going to go right to hot topics. The Dallas owner, Black, said, hey, I'm not playing the national anthem. Then all of a sudden, tippy-toed back when the NFL threw out a memo. What's your thoughts on this?
You said, now, what was the memo that? Because I didn't catch the memo. The NBA wrote a memo?
Yeah, the NBA wrote a memo saying all teams will play the national anthem. And so he was hemming and hawing in his videotape saying, you know, we took it out a few games in the preseason and then we put it back in. People noticed that we didn't put it in. And we're not listening to the fans. Basically, he was saying that some fans don't feel comfortable with the national anthem. Personally, I don't stand for the national anthem. I was talking about this earlier this week about when I read the third stanza in high school. I decided that I'm not standing for a nation that is glorifying running down and killing slaves, my ancestors that were brought here and kidnapped in this country. So I wasn't going to stand for it. But Mark Cuban tried to make a point about it. Then he had to walk it back based on NBA policy.
I here again, man. I respect Mark Cuban for trying to do it. I'm not going to, cloud him or clown him if he had to step back. That's the policy he must adhere to. He signed to it. But I respect him for trying to do it. I think that's something. I don't even know why it's played at sport events. I have no idea.
I think they're getting paid, bro. Just like in the NFL when they were doing it. I think they're getting paid somehow.
Oh yeah, I don't, and that's probably it. Let me just say this, man. I was listening to this on the radio this afternoon. There was a primetime game on television last night in the NBA. 1 million viewers. NASCAR right now is averaging more viewers watching than the NBA, bro. NBA's in trouble. They got bigger issues than playing the national anthem. They're in. You know how much longer are they going to be on television with 1 million viewers? 1 million. NFL averages during the regular season, they were down 15 million viewers. Now, if you think advertisers pulled out of the Super Bowl, you got more people watching Blackish during the week than watching NBA, bro. Pretty soon, advertisers are coming, so it serves them right. NBA's getting their ass kicked, and I'm happy to see it, bro. So, yeah, you don't want them to kneel. You don't want to do this. Justice is coming to the NBA. Because here again, I respect Mark Cuban saying, you know what, I don't see them to be playing this. But, again, the players, where's LeBron saying anything? Name me a black person that stood up and said anything. I'll rest my case.
Yeah. When I saw this story and first came out, I'm like, you know what? Got to respect Mark Cuban because he's listening to his audience. He's listening to people and saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable with the national anthem. And it doesn't represent all the people. And then the NBA comes back and writes a memo saying, based on policy, all teams have to do this. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, it's definitely a policy protocol when you think from the standpoint of before they were making exceptions to certain people didn't have to stand. I mean, they really didn't make a big deal out of it. They maybe didn't show them so much on camera, so they let a few people get away with it. When Cuban comes out and says, we're not doing this, and I respect what some of my players are feeling, it affects some of the fans and what have you, we're not doing it because it really would be to a point that if we didn't do it, nobody will really care, but the league cares, and that's what it comes down to. So I think it really does come down to cash. It comes down to more the money that they're putting out there, so it can be heard and bringing out these other people to certain individuals to perform. But also on the other hand, when you talk about the players not gonna say anything. We know that. I mean, they say one thing, and the whole thing about Black Lives Matter. I read a great article. I think it was in Yahoo Sports. They were kind of talking about the situation where they put down Black Lives Matter. They did this, and you kind of thought that in the NBA, out of all the groups, because you always talk about the NFL and how they're a good old boys club and things of that nature, and NBA was on the right track, right? They're doing this, doing that. Then all of a sudden they go, whoop, sorry. We still over here too. We just kind of duped y'all a little bit just to kind of get you to look into the situation. But really, when it comes down to it, if we had to put the hammer down and keep everybody in control and put them in their place, we'll do the same thing too. So they're maybe a little bit better, but at the end of the day, they'll clown you too. So again, like Thor said, You didn't hear about from LeBron. You hear from anybody else complaining about it. You didn't hear from the players union. They was like, well, I guess that's what they want us to do. So
I gotta, if you don't mind, real quick, man.
Go ahead.
Because we saw this during the bubble last year. You couldn't get enough when Black Lives Matters on the court, all the commercials, the PSAs. Where they at now?
Yep.
I mean, it's like I thought it was funny, not funny, but a little ironic. On Sunday, Tom Brady at the back of his helmet and racism. And now I appreciate it that he poured in a high profile game, but it's like the NBA came back to this season, and last season didn't even happen.
Yeah,
it's like nothing took place. So you mean to tell me they just rolled the wave or something with the players, and they only did that to get the players back on the court, and it worked. It worked, bro. I mean, so sometimes it's, to me, for us, we expect us to help us out, and we want them to help us out more than to help ourselves. Mm-hmm. So to the players and in all these leagues, when as long as they're quiet, NBA got it going, bro. NBA, why should they complain? The NBA say that's our policy. You know what? Then it's time for a new policy. But what player is going to stand up and say that? What player? I mean, no one came to Mark Cuban's support. No one.
I would think, like an ice, that the players would go, we're not going to be on the court during the national anthem. I would think, okay, we're going to support this guy. We don't feel comfortable about it. The people who said they didn't feel comfortable about it, we're not going to be on the court. If you took it into an empty arena.
If the black players in the NBA say we're going to boycott until you not play it, guess what? There will be no games. It'll be played immediately. But you got Kyrie Irving that go off on a tangent for nothing. Where's he right now? Where is he, bro? I mean, seriously, he went off to go watch cartoons for a couple of weeks, and nobody could find him. Why? No, here again, Mark Cuban's on an island by himself. No one is saying anything about it. 1 million. Think about that for a second. 1 million viewers are watching the NBA. And let's not forget, they're not playing in China. That game is not being shown in China. They ain't selling no footwear over there. They ain't selling nothing. The NBA is getting closed in, bro. It's coming. Like I said, they act like they down, whatever. We're going to see how down they are. Because a lot of these contracts these teams are paying, they're not going to be able to afford them. Yeah. Ain't nobody in the stands. You have no concession money. Where they going to make their money at? Because it ain't going to be long before ESPN and TNT going to want a rebate.
ESPN, they're going to be with them forever. That's all they know. Y'all don't know.
That's their flagship.
Now, I will say this. What's ironic about this whole thing, too, though, is we have crucified the NFL for the way that they treat the players and the players not having any idea. But I will tell you this. If the NFL players, particularly African-Americans, said they weren't playing, the NFL would be the first ones there to make sure they was good because they do not want to lose their money. The NBA doesn't even care because they know they're not going to even have the audacity to even think about threatening them that way. But the NFL does not want to lose money. And if they ever thought, as we said before numerous of times, the African-American players were going to strike and cost them money, oh my God. They would do whatever they had to make a difference. But now, that's not the league we're concerned about. It's the good old NBA. Also that good old NBA back in the day. And I hate to throw some more Black history at you. But, yeah, that was that Bill Russell was having to go in the back of hotels because he was good enough to play and win rings. He wasn't good enough to walk through the front door of hotels. But he's a member of the Boston Celtics, world champion.
And he got 11 rings, but I ain't hating. Tale of two quarterbacks. You got Wentz and you got Wilson. You got Wentz, who there's talk that Wentz may be trying to go to the Indianapolis Colts. There have been some talk here that Chicago's not bringing back Trubisky, so that it may be a landing place. And you got Russell saying, I'm not being protected here. And one of the teams that is popping up ice is the Las Vegas Raiders that are popping up wanting to get Russell Wilson. Your thoughts on the tale of two quarterbacks?
One tail is ridiculous. Russell Wilson. I don't know how you let Russell Wilson go. I mean, with Seattle, he's been everything to them, and I don't know who you're going to find to help them out. If they do, they might as well get ready to rebuild, definitely. I think you need to try to pacify him, find him some help on that offensive line, maybe give him another wide receiver as well. But find something to pacify that man because he's everything to Seattle, and he still has enough good years left that you want to keep him on the squad. Of course, when you look at Wentz, though, I mean, of course he wants to go to the Colts. He's in a battle for his life in Philadelphia. Who knows how that's going to work out? People have kind of turned on him a little bit. You don't want to go to Chicago because I don't care what you say. You can say what you want to. I'm gonna say the one. You might have one receiver over there, and you maybe have a running back coming along. You have nobody to throw to. Your favorite receiver is gonna be Cordell Patterson. I keep saying that forever. Poor guy. I mean, he's the superstar in Chicago. He can barely make a squad somewhere else. But of course, he wants to go to Indianapolis. Indianapolis has the defense. They have a nice young running back. Has some wide receivers that are coming along. It's perfect for him if that's what happens. And you got an older guy that just says he's out. So why wouldn't you want to go that way? You go to Chicago, man. Hell, you thought your boy Trubisky had some problems. You stick Wentz over there and see what they'll happen. He's going to start throwing people's heads and like you saw in the Super Bowl or running for his life. It's just not a good situation. So if I was him, I would probably stay in Philadelphia if I had to go to Chicago and just fight it out.
All right, Black, the tale of two quarterbacks. Wentz is trying to get out of Philly. I thought they brought the coach over there to keep him. And I thought they kind of made everything all nice and cozy for him. They fired one coach and got another coach. And now he wants out Indianapolis or the Bears. The Bears have been talking about not bringing back Trubisky. And Russell Wilson, who was running for his life the whole season last season. What do you think about the tale of two quarterbacks?
Well, I'll go with Wentz first. Wentz doesn't control, has no leverage here, to be honest with you. I don't see what Chicago has enough to give up for him. I would basically, realistically, about Philadelphia, I would tell them two things. We're gonna rework your contract. You're gonna stay right here, and you're gonna basically support this quarterback that's coming up. I just wouldn't trade him. They gave him a boatload of money already. He has produced absolutely nothing, and he doesn't even earn the right to. He wants to be traded. I think they fired the coach because that coach lost the team, bro. It wasn't about the quarterback. When he made that move with that quarterback at the end of that game, the players kind of sugarcoated it the next day. They tried to say the right things, but he lost that locker room, and that's why they got rid of him. I think Russell Wilson is just bluffing. I think he's just tired of seeing other quarterbacks get to where he's trying to get, and he hasn't seen him address. He hasn't had an offensive line a long period of time, so I think he's kind of bluffing. I don't think he really wants to go anywhere. He has good receiving core now. But he does need an offensive line. But I think he's going about the wrong way. But I think he realized this worked when he wanted new money. So maybe he thinks this doesn't work again. But they're not trading Russell Wilson. They're not doing that. They're not that stupid. They're not. He's basically the franchise. He fits the franchise. But I will say this, man. He was. Did you see him during the Super Bowl when he sat next to Roger Goodell and Sierra was talking to Goodell? That brother not look happy, man. He not look happy. I don't know if he figured out. Maybe Sierra's trying to get on the stage for next year. And I'm not the only one thought that. I see news articles saying the same thing.
Maybe it's the mask, man. Maybe you could see his mouth, the mask.
I don't even know if he had a mask on, but he did not look happy, bro. He didn't look happy. Maybe he's waking up.
I could have been running around like Mahomes in the Super Bowl. At least I would have been here.
He's got to feel a certain way because, and you think about this too, he wants to get back to the Super Bowl to basically make up for that pass he threw, bro. And what he's finding out, it's not that easy every year. He has some good years. And Russell Wilson quietly wanted to be the MVP this year, bro. And it didn't happen. And some of it's his fault, and a good portion of the offensive line, but his career is just not going like he thought it would go. I mean, I know he's the Walter Payton Man of the Year, and he should have been done that a long time ago. This cat, what he did when he wasn't even making a lot of money, from Tuesday to Thursday, he always showed up at the cancer hospital in Seattle and did other things. So it's interesting. They just finally found him doing that. But we talked about that 3 or 4 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I think at some point he's frustrated because you look around the league, man, you got these young guns coming in, and he sees himself, his window is starting to close. Even has good receivers, that window's starting to close on him. And he's like, you know what? I got to do something to shake this up to try to get me there.
It's
And
43-year-old man in the Super Bowl, and I'm sitting at home. That's
no, I'm actually sitting there. My wife is cackling with the.
I can't enjoy the game.
You're at the Super Bowl next year, baby.
There have been a lot of notable people who passed away since we've been on the air, and one of the most notable is Marty Schottenhiemer, former coach in the NFL. You're in Ohio, Ice. Your thoughts about Marty Schottenheimer? I brought him up the other week with the line. You know, there's a gleam, gentlemen, and I just remember that line from him in NFL films, and he had been suffering from Alzheimer's since 2014. So give me your thoughts about Marty Schottenheimer.
Very well-respected coach. Came from that cradle of coaches, you know, with that pipeline, and solid. Probably one of the few coaches that legitimately had Cleveland turned around at some point, legitimately, and had them roll into a point where they felt respectable. And he kind of bounced here and there. You know, at Kansas City, he was here, he was there, but in the end, he was a good, solid coach. Had a brilliant mind. Put together a lot of good staff. He had a lot of staff that left him and went on some other things. I think the game changed on him a little bit, kind of like a Tom Landry thing, and that's no disrespect to him whatsoever. But when the game changes and you don't change with the game, we can catch up with you. But overall, solid guy, even to the point where, you know, his son was involved with, still involved with football right now and trying to get his self together. But a great family, football family, and just a shame that he had to go out like that because, you know, the way that with Alzheimer's, I think it was, with dementia, it's tough for the family. But solid individual. May he rest in peace.
Yeah. I remember him being black at, you know, Cleveland, and that's when we were really scared of Cleveland in that division when Marty Schottenheimer was there, because any given Sunday, Cleveland against Pittsburgh, they could put it down. And I thought it was a big mistake for the ownership of San Diego to let him go. He put that team together, and they were on the verge. And right when they got to the AFC Championship game, just kind of breaking up that team where that team could have made a good run the next year. I thought that was a travesty from that ownership. And I think he got another coaching job with the Virginia Destroyers. I don't know where that, you know, what league that was in, but it just wasn't the same. I think he coached and he was general manager for 1 year. But your thoughts about Marty Schottenheimer?
Yeah, I'm gonna go right to the point where you made about San Diego. If I remember correctly, I think him and the general manager at that time bumped heads.
Yeah.
I think the following year he wanted Marty to hire offensive coordinator, and Marty was steadfast. He stood up for his men, and that was kind of, to me, in a roundabout way, the death of Marty Schottenheimer. I know he just passed recently, but to me, that's his career. He never came back, and you kind of want to root for him to kind of just get there and get it, because he was that type of coach, and he had a way just kind of getting his players to kind of rally and play. But to me, when that happened, it seemed like he was never able to bounce back again. He was never able to kind of get it going again. And when I heard a while ago he had Alzheimer's, there's still a little story on him. It was kind of sad to watch. It really was. But that's the guy, to me, if I had to guess, was born with a football, man. You can just tell football was just in his blood. You know, he just had it, something about him. He burned it. He craved it. And, yeah, it's tough. I would have loved to have seen him kind of got to the big one and maybe win one, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Rest in peace and peaceful journey to Coach Schottenheimer. Let's go to the NBA. We're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, but we're going to put a lot of that in our overtime because these guys had a lot to say about the Super Bowl. All I have to say is I'm sorry, Tom Brady. All the things I said about you all year long. Anyway, let's go to the NBA. There's something about that Utah team that's playing really well, and they're quietly playing really well, but they're not quiet in the Western Division. They're number one in the Western Division, and the Lakers are number two. They were talking about, I caught a little bit of some of the news today. They were talking about LeBron playing too many minutes and all this other stuff. The Clippers are kind of in third place trying to get there in the Western Division. But Philly been playing some good basketball quietly in the East. Milwaukee dropped one to Phoenix. They shouldn't have dropped that one. And I just don't know what they need to get that team together, because Giannis took the last shot. And I was like, no, this is not a good play design for him to take the last shot. They only needed 2 points to win. And he was the only one they gave to the ball. He was way outside the three-point line. And it was like, it wasn't even like Phoenix were even worried about him hitting the shot at that particular point. But give me your eye test on the NBA.
I would say this, man. I noticed, I looked at my phone last night. I saw that they were playing Phoenix. And I've seen Giannis goof some games up this year already. So I don't even want to watch him play anymore, bro. Because
he disgusted you that much? You want
it just does, bro, because that's what he does. I watched him about a week ago. He demolished, I forgot which team it was. He's up and down the court. But when you put him in a situation where he has to win again, he can't do it, man. I don't care if he won 20 MVPs. He's not built for it, bro. His game is not built for it. He's not built for it. And ironically, he's come back this year. He hasn't added nothing. He has no low post game. He just got to go from end to end, foul line to the rim. And we can't do that. He has no package, bro. And it's kind of, look at Milwaukee. It kind of reminds me of the old Atlanta Hawks with the same coaches over there. They'll win some games in the regular season. They're going to look good, and they're going to make you cry in the postseason, bro. And they're on that same track again. They have nothing around him substantiated, that's going to help them in the long run. So it's not worth it. I just think, piggyback what you said about LeBron, we forget that championship last year was based on a half season. It wasn't a whole season. When you think about, there's a big gap where he had a chance to rest up, work out, do whatever he does to make himself look like he's 25. We forget that took place. So they had like a good time to make a short run for a championship. Now there's a whole season where he's got to get up and down the court, and play point guard. So of course he's tired. Good. Good, man. I'm happy to hear it. I'm just hoping that the West can take advantage of it, because I would love to see Utah go there, but sometimes to me, Utah reminds me of smoke and mirrors. It's smoke today, might be mirrors tomorrow. So I'm happy in the first place, but I don't know. I don't know.
I'm looking at Boston, and could it be that Brad Stevens is not the coach for that team? Because in the last 10 games, they're 4-6. They are too talented to be 4-6 in the last 10 games. In the East, where you have Philly leading, and Toronto's right behind them, and their trade rumors about Laurie, about getting, I think he's been in the league for about 14 years, almost 14 years, and they're like, okay, we got Van Fleet, who went up for, I guess scored like almost 50 points the other day, or 52 points the other day. So maybe it's time to move on from Laurie and go to the point guard, the other young point guard there. Your thoughts on your eye test for the NBA?
Yeah, we stay in the East, but you mentioned about Boston, and I don't want to put it on one guy, but and it can be part of the coach too, but I think that they thought they were going to get more from Kemba Walker as a leader. I've said that. Keep saying that. People are like, you too much on Kemba. He's a hell of a player, but there's a difference in leading a team as you prepare for the postseason and being a leader. And when he was over in Charlotte, he was a leader because he was scoring all the points and doing this and whatnot. But now he's playing with some real talent. And you have to find a way to kind of show them that you're the guy. And I'm not sure if he's done that. We talked about him missing some shots. I don't know if Brad Stevens is putting him in the right position. Then you need somebody in the center position. You went and got Tristan Thompson. That's not really working out the way you want to. Now you're on the edge talking about you're thinking about making a blockbuster trade so you can get somebody else. But who are you going to get? I mean, you've had everybody. You got the big center that they have from Philadelphia. I mean, that you had before in Boston, and you send him to Philadelphia. At least he was serviceable, right? From Florida. He was University of Florida. He was serviceable. Right now, you just, you're waiting on Tatum. It's a lot going on over there. I'm not sure. And Philadelphia is just biding their time. As I said to you before, I'm not sure the East is as good as we think it is. Everybody's talking about, this and that. I mean, and that which allows a team like Brooklyn with all of their chemistry and wildness and buck wildness with the three amigos. They just need to be close. They might win the East just by default because all they need to be in close, and they might step up their game. So the East, besides Philadelphia, is just kind of wide open over there. And the rest of my quick time, I'm going to go right where I'm glad this is a segue right into what I was talking about. Trying to tell you about them damn Phoenix Suns. Y'all do not want to give them that love. Monty Williams is over there. But wait a minute. Go ahead. What you going to say?
But you know what? I think to me, because they almost blew that game. Chris Paul almost blew that game. They need to put the ball late in the game in Devin Booker's hands. Put Chris Paul on the bench because he started shooting and started missing because he was tired. And he had the hamstring injury. Put him on the bench in the fourth quarter. Let Devin Booker go to work. They almost blew that game last night.
Okay, so I appreciate that, but we're not even at the All-Star game that they shouldn't have. We're not even at that point yet. But they are working towards improving. But the one thing they are doing is they look better. They collectively, when you look at Monty Williams, put together a squad. I was looking at something the other night, just kind of comparing what they're doing. They had one game where they had a number of decent players now. They got Dario Saric. He's a top-notch draft pick before. Jay Crowder was out. And you know what Monty Williams was doing now? He started Frank Kaminsky. Yeah, from Wisconsin. And he's not coming in dominating or anything like that, but he's playing. And he's very serviceable at that power forward. So everybody's just coming around there, and he's giving you all he has because he's glad to be there. And in turn, what they're doing is they're winning games. So when they came back at full circle last night, and they had the fourth spot versus Milwaukee, I mean, they were balling. They had all 5 starters in double figures. I mean, they was just getting it in. And Kaminsky, he has a nice little rotation. Also, too, you mentioned that they almost blew it, but they didn't blow it. You know who blew it? Your boy. Yeah.
I know Giannis blew it.
Yeah,
that was a bad play call.
He blew it, but he had 47.
Yeah.
You have 47 and you lose to Phoenix? Dude, you in trouble. Like I said, what they saying goes, Molly, you in danger, girl. Giannis, you in danger, man.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying. You got 47 and y'all lost? I don't know, bro. And you had the last shot. Now you going to blame the coach?
Yeah. All right, we're going to touch on NFL football. We're going to wrap this thing up. Didn't end the way some of us wanted it to end. I have to admit, I turned the football game off when they scored, and going into halftime, and I was like, something ain't right about this game. I ain't even text my pop yet about it. But when we talked Friday, because there was a Duke North Carolina game on, and we usually don't talk for a while after Duke North Carolina game, and I text him, I'm like, both teams stink, but we still bust that, Anyway, the Super Bowl. Let's do the wrap up with the Super Bowl. The young bull falls to the old bull. And we talked a little bit about it. Let's streamline it. Give the people a little taste of what you guys talked about in the beginning of the show. We'll put at the end of the show for overtime. Let's go with Black first.
I'm gonna put this right at the coaches of Kansas City. That basically, I don't know what they did the 2 weeks at all. I don't know, they was eating a lot of what's the name? What they sell in Kansas City? Barbecue, because they were not ready to be at this game, bro. They just did not bring a team ready to basically match up against what they saw at Tampa. You knew Tampa was going to come up with defense, and everybody knew your offensive line was in shambles. I just didn't see adjustments. Just that plain and simple. They were outmatched, outcoached, and the adjustments just wasn't there. The defensive coordinator. I mean, I seen him play our matchup last year in the Super Bowl. He did well against San Fran, but how do you not in the second half, the last minute of the game, 47 seconds left, Brady wants to go deep. Tampa Bay itself been going deep for the past 5 years. That's what Aaron's live on. He wants to go deep. To not have your safety playing cover 2 or drop your safety back and blitzing was a bad call, man. You're already down. It'd be a different story if the game was close, but you're down. They got the momentum. You got to get them off the field, and you got to get into halftime. I did not understand where they kept giving Mahomes open with nobody back to help him block, emptying everybody out and going open. And when you saw the cornerbacks coming at him like crazy, how do you not basically say, you know what? We got to pound the ball a little bit. We're going to start doing some short passes. How do you not change to where when the cornerback is coming, you basically have a running back there to chip him and dump? I mean, simple things, bro. This is not high-tech offense. They made no adjustments. It made me remember that Andy Reid did this with Philly and he was offensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, with Green Bay, and he learned this from the old 49ers head coach. He scripts his 31st plays, and he goes in there. Those 31st plays he scripted for Sunday didn't work. It didn't work, and he knows to go to. And he just, to me, I think what he did, he had 31 players in this form of his sheet. He didn't flip it over. He kept staying on that same sheet and just kept running on the same plays over and over. And Tampa Bay was well versed to get it. He did not succeed as a head coach, but Todd Bowles is a hell of an defensive coordinator, man. And you said this earlier about the staff of Tampa Bay. The majority of assistant coaches there are black. They're all black. It's going to be hard pressed for the NFL next year not to find somebody in that staff and make them a head coach. Brian Leftwich did a hell of a job. And what's his name said, Bruce Arians said he wouldn't even taken the job if Brian Leftwich could not have been a offensive coordinator. And that might be the job that Bruce might step aside. He might get the head coaching job there. But there was way too many talented black folk on that staff for not one of them to be a head coach coming up in the next season.
Man, Bruce Arians ain't stepping away. He said he didn't even have to coach this year. Tom Brady coached this year. Why would you step away from a job you ain't got to work?
He coached, bro, because he was up in Tom's butt for the first 6 weeks of the season. That's coaching, bro. He wasn't shy about it. When Tom Brady made mistakes, Bruce Arians laid it on him thick. That's coaching, bro. He may not call plays, but there was days that Tom Brady did not walk into that building, that facility, feeling good, thanks to Bruce Arians. He got it done.
All right, Ice, give me your eye test on the Super Bowl.
I think it's really about Tampa's mindset. I tried to tell you, I'm not trying to give you no gambling advice because you should not gamble. Especially you don't know what you're doing and you don't spend your money, that you don't spend your electric bill money, all that stuff. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying, no, I tried to tell you. I said, I like that 3. I like that 3.5. I'm going to roll with it. But I think it was the mindset. I really do, because you saw where Tampa Bay was excited. A lot of guys who had not won before. I mean, Brady kind of helped with that, but I think you had guys like Gronkowski, other guys who had won before. And even Arians was like, hey, you know what? Kind of like the way we're rolling. Even they were talking about it after Tampa Bay won the NFC Championship over Green Bay. Guys were crying and all excited. And Tom Brady said, stop that BS, man. We didn't do nothing. We haven't won anything. So don't celebrate yet. We got one more to go. We got the big one to go. And when you have a guy talking about that mindset and he's showing you these rings, bro. I mean, seriously, he's showing you these rings and they're talking about it. You got to start believing it. That defense was like, we're going for it. If they don't want it, like we talk about putting a $100 bill, you don't want it, somebody else, I'll pick it up. But they're just to that point where I think they're fired up for it. And they were excited and they were at home and things started to work. And you talked about the African-American staff. I think that just shows you, it proves that when you have certain people in the right positions, they can win. All the other stuff is kind of crap, but it is what it is. But it shows the NFL, okay, all that stuff you were saying and what you don't believe as owners, this is proof showing you what's going on. So with that in mind, I think you got to take your hat off to them and give it up, man. Give it up to Tampa. They got the job done, and you know, Brady was drunk, Brady was wilding, the whole 9. So you can keep hating on him, but he gonna keep. It sounds like he gonna keep shining trophies. So you can say it you want to, you know, that's how they end up with straight hateration. And I ain't mad at it. Sometimes you just gotta come as like what the lady from First 40 say. Sometimes a man gotta be a man and acknowledge another man. You just gotta give it up. 7 out of 10 Super Bowls. And for the 10 Super Bowls, 1-7, you could say it should be 5, whatever. They gave him 2 other ones. Regardless, you call it what you want to. 70% ain't a bad 10%. In the Super Bowl, we're not even talking about NFC Championship games. We're talking about Super Bowls.
I said some things about Tom Brady throughout our video broadcast and our podcast. I'm sorry, Tom Brady. Congratulations to Tampa Bay and Tom. Called you old and all that other stuff. I'm sorry.
I told you leave that old man alone. You like, all right, yo, you talking about, all right. Okay.
You can't take it away from him. You know, hook or crook, as you know, folks just say. You can't take it away from them. They got it. They got it. So, yeah, let's move on to college basketball. Black, you gonna fade out right now or what?
Yeah, man. You could basically go black on me for a few minutes.
Before we go to the men's, let's go to the women. UConn and South Carolina had a great battle this week. I don't know if you saw it, Black. I'll let you talk a little bit about that. But Paige Becker is the truth, boy.
I didn't get a chance to catch it, and I regret that. But I will say this, man. I am impressed the way UConn has come back, women basketball has come back, bro. I am impressed. Just when you thought they was going to fade away for a few years, be done with, and the coach that likes to kind of do this a little bit, he basically got them back in order and got them playing, man. And there's something about UConn women when they get it right, they're number 2, and then oh my goodness, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, you texted me during the game, and you were like, "Hey, man, they battling."
Yeah.
And I was watching the freshman Paige Becker. She's the truth. She's a go-getter. She didn't mind taking that last shot. You got players that are afraid to take those shots, and then you have players who don't mind taking that last shot. And I like the players who don't shy away from taking that last shot, whether they miss it or they make it. They're going to take that last shot to try to end the game. Your thoughts about that particular game, bro?
Yeah. When I text you, I was just trying to let you. I was like, man, because I looked over and I saw they're playing, so I turned it on. And South Carolina, for the first part of the game, they were in charge, right? They were the number 1 team, they had everything going on. They were controlling the game. And then it turned a little bit where they just didn't seem to be hitting their shots. You kind of started rolling a little bit and you got closer. And before they went to overtime, South Carolina had like 3 chances at the basket, almost 4 to win the game. They had 3 or 4 chances. And then after that, they just couldn't get it done. And then it got to a point where UConn went up like 2 and 4. And then at that point, it's like that UConn magic came on, right? I don't know if Gino called a timeout or whatever, but he was like, yeah, we about to get this because y'all don't want it. Again, we keep talking about that $100 you don't want. You don't want that $100. Like, we'll take it. So, but they came in, and kudos to Don Staley because she's doing a hell of a job over there. But, sometimes you got to make them horses run, man, even harder. And maybe it'll be a rematch down the road in the tournament. I would love to see it, and maybe they can try to get a little revenge. But once again, like that old Tom Brady, that damn Gino just keep frustrating the hell out of a lot of college basketball fans because he found ways to win big games. So
that was a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed that game, and the women's game. Please take some time to watch women's college basketball. They are playing their booties off. Looking at the top 25 in the men's, Gonzaga is going to be playing San Francisco on Saturday. Baylor playing Texas Tech, who seems to be coming up, but that's going to be a great game. Hopefully your boy don't gun the whole team out. Michigan and Illinois postponed. I was really looking forward to watching that game to see if Illinois can move up. They're number 6. Villanova moved 2 spots down to number 5. Ohio State moving up 3 spots to number 4. And they're talking about putting them in, the number 1 seeds right now if the season ended. I think North Carolina better hope that game against Virginia gets postponed because Virginia is no joke. Virginia's moving up, and this is not your regular Virginia team. They are playing a lot of good offense. They got a lot of players who can pop it from the outside. Iowa recently won their game after taking a skid, I think a 4-game skid. And they moved down to number 15. West Virginia's moving up to number 14. Texas moved down to number 13. You have Oklahoma, who's number 12. Alabama, Missouri, who I think is a good team. They are at number 10. Houston dropped the ball recently because I wanted to brag on them, but I wanted to wait another week, but they dropped the ball. And Tennessee's falling. You got Florida State trying to make a move up. You got Creighton moving down. You got USC moving 7 spots up to number 20. Drake was there at 1 week, and then they're gone. Got Rutgers at number 25. Purdue, they're playing Michigan State. They played Michigan State, and that was a great game to watch. Also, Oklahoma State, which I guess they're on probation or something like that. So it's kind of up in the air whether or not they're going to even be invited to the tournament. Loyola Chicago, you haven't heard that team in a couple of seasons. They're making a comeback. They are ranked number 22. and Wisconsin is at 21. So give me an eye test, Ice, on college basketball, some of the games you've seen last week.
Yeah, lots going on. Alabama was hot for a while. Then they come up and they lose to Oklahoma, and then they lost to Missouri. So you kind of wondered, are they cooling off? It seems that way right now. Other teams you look at too, as you mentioned, West Virginia was doing well. They beat Kansas, and they knocked Kansas out the top 25. And I sent you a text. I warned you. Kansas went and played Oklahoma State with Cade Cunningham, who's probably the best player in the country right now. Probably might be the number one pick in the NBA draft coming up. He's a dynamite player. He can score 25 with his eyes closed, and he's very athletic. But Kansas was like, oh, so you're going to put us out the top 25. Watch this. Oh, night, Oklahoma State. You dare put us out the top 25? Watch this. And that's what they did. So if Kansas makes the tournament, even though they may not have the best personnel right now, I think there'll still be a handful. You do not want to see a seed like a number 12 seed Kansas.
Kansas, no.
Because they will play their butts off, and they will be a problem if they make it that far. Usually I don't talk about them because you think I'm a homer, but Ohio State is playing some real basketball. They're playing their butts off. They beat Maryland the other evening. They beat a number of other teams. They beat Illinois. They beat Iowa on the road. And when you look at their roster, knowing what's going on here in Columbus, nobody's going to knock you out and say, "Oh, wow, they're so talented. They're 5-star athletes, but they're playing well." And the coach is doing real well as far as bringing them along, and they're learning together as a group. They have a young man at the forward by the last name Liddell, is playing his butt off. He's coming along, and who knows? He might be up for. I think he has another year. He might be up for Player of the Year type honors if he keeps up this strong performance level. But it's still wide open. I still need to see Baylor in
Texas Tech, yeah.
Texas Tech. But Gonzaga is just showing you know what? You keep saying we're gonna fall off. We ain't falling off, bro. We like baby's kids. We don't die. We multiply. They coming for you, bro. Gonzaga is the best team in the country.
So there's been a debate, Ice, on how many Big Ten teams do you think will get into the tournament this year? Because they're talking about double digits right now.
Ooh, double digits. I'm not sure it's going to be double digits. We look at Ohio State, Michigan, Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin. I'm at 6 already. I would probably say the minimum is 8.
You got Purdue and Rutgers.
Right. That's 8. And who else you going to throw in there? Not Northwestern.
You said Minnesota. Northwestern really surprised me because they start out the year I think 6-1 or 6-0, and then they just fell off in December. It's like just lost a number of games. They really disappointed me this year. Right. But I wouldn't put it past the committee to put 10 teams in from the Big Ten.
Ooh, I don't know, because see, now you're talking about Penn State. I don't think Penn State's really that good. They lost their coach. Now they have an interim coach. They've been up and down. But I'm thinking 8 definitely, maybe 9. But 10 is, because, on that bottom rung, you can't put Michigan State in, right? They just haven't played well this year at all.
I wouldn't be surprised they put Michigan State in because they're going to get a couple of wins. That's going to kind of seal the deal for them. They'll get a big time win.
They might make a run, but when I was looking at you, I just blinked my eyes, and they're about ready to start conference tournament, right? Pretty soon.
If they have one, yeah.
I think Big Ten is having one. So they're having it. They're talking about having it in Indianapolis. And if it's coming up in the next few weeks, I don't know if Michigan State can make any ground up unless they have a killer schedule that's going to allow them to beat the Illinois, beat the Iowa, or beat an Ohio State or Michigan. If they don't have the schedule, that's why I say I'm not sure if they can get 10 in. I definitely think there will be 8 from the Big Ten in for sure, because that's how it's been, the competition level has been in the Big Ten.
Okay. All right. Why are you mad, son? Black, why are you mad, man? No, you ain't mad.
No, it's interesting. There's nothing to be mad about this week, man. Surprisingly. If I ain't mad, I can't fake it, man. So when I think about it, maybe one thing that makes me mad, semi-mad, is outside of sports. Outside of sports. It's just, I mean, I don't have any here, but if I want to hear, I will not put Gorilla Glue on my head and hoping that it would hold. So the pure ignorance that this young lady displayed and putting this on her head, and then think she has a right to basically sue for damages.
No.
You have to kind of wake up. And you live in a country that you may never care about, what the case may be, but learn the rules, the laws, and what goes on in this country. Because when you get your feelings hurt, it doesn't mean you have a lawsuit.
Wow. You know, you always wonder why they put on certain bottles and products, do not drink, do not eat. Now they got put, do not put this in your hair. And she said, what's your greatest concern? What are you afraid of? That I'll lose my hair. You should lose your hair. You don't know what to do with it. That's why you mad, son.
I'm gonna say this. It's like pressure. People do things out of reaction. I'm a little bit mad at the NFL. Okay, you knew what was going on last year, and you didn't do it, and now you want to come back this year. Now all of a sudden, the senior committee of the Hall of Fame want to put my man Drew Pearson in. You want to act like he don't belong in there. He does belong in there. He has more yardage and receptions than Lynn Swann. And I know Lynn Swann is a highlight film, and I ain't mad at him. And he got more touchdowns. But Drew Pearson was Roger Staubach's right-hand man. He was the original 88, okay? There are certain things. You know, Bob Hayes was 22. Emmitt Smith is whatever he was. Actually, Emmitt Smith was 33. But before him, there's Dwayne Thomas. But the original 88 wasn't Gene Fugit. It was Drew Pearson. And they knew they messed up. That man deserved to be in there. I can name some other names in there, like in the Hall of Fame. And you made the man almost cry. He was cussing. Man, he's a religious man. Man was hurt. He's down on his knees, crying. He let him in. And all of a sudden, he's like, guess what, this year? He's like, are you serious? Don't give me a heart attack. Well, come on, man. Don't do that to old black people. You can't do it. We got diabetes. We got hypertension. We got rickets. We got all kinds of stuff, man. Don't do that to the brother. Congratulations, Drew Pearson. You're one of my favorites of all time, despite the even married people in Minnesota still mad at you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He pushed off.
But you know what? He played with inside the rules. It's kind of like the same way, too. Why are you not putting in one of my beloved people that I got to know really good as a friend as well? And we'll call him Uncle Jack Tatum. Don't be mad at him because he used the rules the way he could. He deserves to be in the Hall, too. But congratulations, Drew Pearson.
Yeah,
I would say this, man. I feel your love for Drew Pearson, but I will say this. You can't compare him to Lynn Swann, baby. Lynn Swann did it at the highest game. Those highlights are just not ordinary highlights. You give me some highlights in a game that matter for Drew Pearson, I'm with you. Lynn Swann when the lights were bright, he was a ballet player. He was a ballet dancer in the Super Bowl, man.
I'm going to give you that. He was a better a ballet player. He was a better highlight player. But I'm just going to say this. And let me just say this. And yeah, he was 4-time Super Bowl champion. But, you know, a lot of people like to throw numbers. I'm not a numbers dude. I look at it. I'm an eye test. I see what it is, what you did on the field. But when you do look at them little numbers like they throw out, I'm going to play that numbers game now. Lynn Swann only was a All-Pro once. Drew Pearson was a 3-time All-Star. All I'm saying is, I'm not even gonna go Randy Moss versus T.O. type thing. All I'm saying is, if certain people get in, he should have been in a while back. That's all I'm saying. That's all. I'm not. You know, we can throw it one way or the other. I'm not gonna say he's better than the Swan, nothing like that. But he damn sure deserved to be in the Hall of Fame some time ago. That's just me.
Yeah. I just, you know, I'm not, you know, like you said, I don't want to kind of get in debate, but I will say this though. As good as he was, and you know, there's some plays where you know he pushing whatever, and he had the yards, you know, because you know Tom Landry is all about that offense. But I'm just wondering when it comes down to receivers from the past, and this could be kind of a question too. His name never circulates, bro. Why we never remember Drew Pearson as receiver? And I'm not saying that should be in and out of Hall of Fame, but his name just never kind of pops up as you know, Bob Hayes. Come on, you say Hayes, everybody. You said Drew Pearson. You almost got to start to run through your memory bank to try to figure out what he did, and that's no disrespect to him. I'm just saying it's just for some reason those yards are almost like quiet yards.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes in the NFL, you got to make a splash.
But see,
Well, I remember because, you know, we talked about Roger Staubach being dangerous. He was dangerously throwing that ball to Drew Pearson, you know, in crunch time. You know, those two scared me as a tandem.
Okay, I'll throw this out to you then. Other than the push off, name me his most spectacular play.
I mean, man, you asked me to go back for what, 40 years?
I'm just saying.
But let me just say this: he was consistent. Grant, he didn't have the acrobatic catches of Swan, but every time, like you said, when they needed a play, and I'm gonna tell you, perfect example is when you had back in the day when they had what was his name? Tony, when they had like Tony Hill and guys like that too. Drew Pearson was the main guy that Staubach threw to. And my only thing I'll say that to you is like, you remember a guy like a Torrey Holt. What the hell has he done? He had 1 year. They won the Super Bowl. But you remember Torrey Holt over Drew Pearson?
No.
All I would say is I don't remember certain plays, but it just seemed like when they had to have a play.
Yeah.
I give you that. I think Torrey Holt, I'm not sure if he made the Super Bowl. The receivers that the Rams had do not deserve to be nowhere near the Super Bowl, bro.
Right.
And I think Kurt Warner, just being a nice guy, made it. Mm-hmm. If you're going to tell me it's an actual Hall of Fame quarterback, that's questionable to me. And I like Kurt Warner, but he didn't have the time, in my opinion, to be in the Hall of Fame. But as we know now, the Hall of Fame is, you know, sometimes about buddy, who you know, and you're on television, the case may be. And Kurt Warner rubbed people the right way. But none of those receivers that he played with as a Ram, Hall of Fame, no. They didn't have the longevity.
But like you said, though, you just made the point for me, though, because you always heard the names of Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, after they had that little, run in the sun, fastest show on turf, whatever. But collectively, far as consistent, Drew Pearson, hands down, was better than any of them cats. But as you said, it was about playing favorites. Wasn't the most favorable guy as far as like stats and whatnot, but the dude bought it every year. And when you look at Roger Staubach or you even ask him, he will tell you his most damn consistent receiver was Drew Pearson. I go back to the days of Butch Johnson. I name it all. And Gene Fugit, all kind of different guys.
Golden Richards.
Yeah, Drew Pearson was the dude, man.
Golden Richards, that was something right there.
Yeah, Golden Richards, yeah, no doubt. But at the end of the day, Drew, bro. All day, Cowboy.
I remember when he got upset when he didn't get in, but I can't refute it. I think he deserves to be in. And I can't remember like certain plays, but there were plays where they needed it, and it were under 2 minutes, and he'd be catching the ball on the sidelines, tippy-toeing, going right out of bounds, just as smooth as the other side. Just smooth. When they needed a play, he was the guy they went to, and he was the guy that made you afraid as a Giant fan.
Good Swan, baby, all day.
Yeah,
Swan.
I'm a Pittsburgh guy,
Good Swan, baby.
True. And watching Stallworth and Swan, we had those guys who did that. But Drew did it like under the radar, and he was like when Roger Staubach needed a play, that was the playmaker right there. That was the playmaker before the playmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the original 88, bro, in Dallas.
Yeah.
Original 88.
Talk about pushing off. Mike Irvin made a career pushing off.
Hey, look.
They didn't even call offensive pass interference back then.
Look, he learned well. He had a great teacher.
Ref won't even call it back then.
But it's sad. The only play that they don't show highlights of Drew Pearson, but the only play we remember is the Minnesota play when he pushed it off. And they should show more highlights. That's.
Yeah, but you know what? It was amazing because as a kid, I was like, "Oh my God!" Everybody get pushed off. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
We looking for flags. No flags.
He's like.
All right, your question, Black.
Urban Meyer hired a cat that was released from Iowa, a strength coach that had the history with young Black players of being racist. And it just, I want to put this question out like this, because Urban Meyer has a right to hire it. He said he was friends of his 20 years ago, yada, yada, yada. If you were a grown man on the Jacksonville Jaguars right now, and this guy's coming in to be your strength coach. What are you thinking?
Ice?
One, if I'm of a player, I'm not giving him any type of I wouldn't say I wouldn't respect him, but he's not gonna be, he really can't tell me anything. One, because I'm a professional, he's coming in as a coach. And I'm watching this behavior because I think part of that is he was talking to young people and kids. And I'm not saying that he deserves the right to be there or I like him being there. That's Urban Meyer's right. But when you're in the professional football league, we know that coaches oftentimes become secondary. So I think if he's not careful, he's going to get a real taste of what it's about. Because you know the prima donnas in the NFL was like, what you say? And they're to the point where they can get you fired. So granted, I mean, I understand what's going on, but as a true serious player that's been accomplished, his best thing he should do is the best advice they should give him is to just stay in the shadows. Shut the hell up, do your job. Because you mess around with one of them players, you might get slapped in the damn mouth. Because you know, you mess around, you lucky you ain't in Tampa Bay. Because Sue might, what you say? What? I'm just saying. I think he just if you're gonna be, he's there now. Do your job, be quiet. Because now you're not dealing with young boys and people you can intimidate and them worrying about losing their scholarship. You're talking to grown men that make millions of dollars and they don't give a damn, most of them, about who you are or what you did before, because they're not going to put up with that BS because they just show.
I think you're starting off on the wrong foot right off the bat. You're starting off on the wrong foot. And with all this stuff that's going on, you're going to bring somebody that could have potential of saying something or doing something to disrupt the team and the culture. So as a player, I would be really suspect of the decision. But I think Ice is right, too. No, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to see what the players do. Because we talked about it earlier and you know, about Mark Cuban and all that. I want to see if the players step up and see what they're going to say and do. Because I don't even think they care at this particular point. As long as they're getting that check, they wouldn't care if the Ku Klux Klan was the coaching staff of a football team at this particular point, because they won't say anything about anything else. So I want to sit back and watch and see how this kind of plays out. Black?
Yeah, I kind of have that thought too, but I think if I was a player there, man, I would feel a certain way, only because Urban Meyer has never coached NFL. And I think there's some disrespect there when you bring this cat in to basically strength coach me in his past history. It's like you don't care about what you're doing. It's like your loyalty, and I know you don't know me as a player, but your loyalty is not to the organization, it's to your boys. And that's what I'm seeing. So this to me would kind of set me in a bad mood, a bad tone. And I think I'll be over analyzing everything that he does from this point forward. Both of them.
All right, Ice, what's your question?
Yeah, UFC, man, Dana White is just always coming with something new. He's coming up with Khabib and all these other guys. Looking at this the way that it is, and we talk about, of course, Black Door said boxing is dying, but it's all good. But how long legitimately do you think UFC is going to be around, or is it something you just think is that popular, is going to be around for a long time, or is it like a death sentence, an expiration date, should I say, or you think it's going to be positively produced and continue to make money for the next foreseeable future? Yes.
Black?
I think the UFC has the potential to be around, but I think they need to I think it's time to let Gregor McConnell, whatever his name, go, man. They got to find a couple of new people to basically lead them. And when I say that, if you look at the women's side, say what you want, Ronda Rousey made them on the women's side, bro. She could not fight a lick, but she was like the headline that moved the needle. And I think in order for them to continue and to grow, they need that again. They need somebody on both sides that's going to come in that they can market, you know, and, you know, you got to market them and get them out there. If they can't do that, I think they're going to be muddied for a little while. I'm not sure they're going to go away. There'll be no new growth, man. Conor McGregor is worn his welcome out, bro. I mean, his off the stuff he gets into, all that type of stuff. it hasn't helped him. Sometimes bad publicity can be a good thing for him and just kind of backfire. But they need some new mouthpieces, man, that come on with some flash, somebody they can get behind and promote and kind of turn into mainstream to help them survive.
As long as boxing continues the way it is, UFC is going to be around. I mean, they have fights every 2 weeks. They got a fight coming up this weekend with Usman. And so as long as boxing is carrying on like they're the WWE, UFC is going to be around for a long, long time. It's an alternative. And that's what they came out with. Boxing wasn't filling that void. So here comes the UFC. And like I said, every 2 weeks, every week or every 2 weeks, they got a fight on the weekend. When's the next fight in boxing? Exactly.
I can't believe Ice. Ice is in shock. You literally call boxing. We've been doing this show for years, but I've been saying that for years. I can't believe people just call boxing WWE.
It just turned into WWE. Me and him already had this conversation.
I said it for the first time in years, man. What happened? What brought you to the realization? That's the question.
Mayweather and 50 Cent. That's what brought me to the realization that this is the WWE now. It's grudge matches, man. You got the folks you hate and the good guy. And so with this fight, I don't even know who's who because, I don't know who likes what. So it's like it's coming into the WWE. These guys aren't fighting each other. You got celebrities and folks on YouTube fighting each other. I don't know what the hell's going on anymore in boxing. And so UFC is just stepping up I just noticed that every 2 weeks there's a UFC battle. They got gas fights that they show that still get more views than boxing. They fix these fights. The judges tell you that one guy won when the other guy is beat down. It's the WWE, man. It's the WWE. And if they don't change it quick, UFC ain't got no problem. UFC is going to be around for long. I don't care what they do. They got to be a major misstep for the UFC to muck this up. They really do. They got it rolling. They had their stuff rolling before boxing. They went over to the island over in India somewhere and Fight Island. Boxing ain't do that. After they saw that, then boxing came up. And then we saw the Nate Robinson. Now with Tyson talking about fighting Holyfield. Come on, man. Come on. Ice, what do you think, man? I'm tired. I'm not going to talk no more.
Baby, I love it when Boo comes up blue. I love it.
Man, I don't know. Just when I was about to let you taste the white Hennessy, too. Guess we're gonna change that one up.
I blew my chance. Huh?
Yeah, like I had a bar, I was trying to get a bottle. Well, messed up. You all went to the dark side. Anyway, but that is your cousin. But let me just say this. I mean, I get that. I mean, I know where you're coming from. My only issue with the UFC is the fact that you said they're fighting every 2 weeks. But I think Blackthorn hit it on the head when the point of they need to come up with some more stars. Usman is good. John Jones, we don't know. He's up to heavyweight. He's about 265 now. I mean, we don't know what the hell's going on. Is Cormier coming out of retirement? There's really no superstars in there. I mean, you got Khabib. They're trying to get him back out. McGregor's older. There are a lot of flash in the pan guys. But I'm wondering, where is it at? And our guy, Nate Diaz, it's back and forth. So you keep playing this game as to whether or not you really don't have anybody you have a couple guys of substance. But truthfully, for me, I'm more excited about the women on the other side.
Yeah.
You know about my girl, Amanda Nunes. I want to see her fight a dude. I'm serious. She's that damn good. I like to see her fight one of them YouTube dudes, but I know people are going to get on me because you don't see women fight men. I get that, but she would want some booty. But you have other guys like one of the best fights we saw, and I know Stephen A. feeling some kind of way, and I ain't mad at you, but one of the best fights we saw in Puma, you don't like seeing women fight, but one of the best damn fights we saw in UFC was between two women. Yeah, and it really was, and it was amazing. So I'm wanting to see how they're going to keep it rolling. But in regards to boxing, I'll just say this. I think it's going to split two different ways. Puma, you talked about seeing the weed show. I think you're going to get the weed show. The weed show, the circus, is the whole nine. But I think you still have legitimate fights. Like right now, we're talking about Sean Porter may fight Terrence Crawford, which would be a hell of a fight, and some other things too. But I think it's gonna go like over here. You have one side with your weed smokers and your whatever, your drinkers, and the people just want to see exhibition and carnival acts with small people versus the giants and all that other type of stuff. So you can have that sponsored by the weed folks. I'm good with that. But then I still think you have legitimate boxing, but still we'll see. But hey, it is what it is, man. It's all about opinions, and we'll see what happens. But congratulations. You have now shown that you are relatives. There you go.
But I hope it goes that way, but I don't think it's going to go that way. I really don't. I think people want to be more entertained now, and then legitimate boxing is going to go out. People don't want to see that. It's boring. And when they're going to bring, what they're going to do is they're going to bring the entertainment with more entertainment with entertainment stars. And that's going to catch the public. That's going to make more money. And so I can see where other boxers go, I want to make that money too. So I might as well retire, come back and fight an exhibition against Vanilla Ice, and then I can make me a lot of money too. So I think that's where people, they're going to follow the money. And that's what the money's going to be.
You might be right, and then it's going to be brought to you by, we just smoke weed, but we buy all the weed. So you got weed companies that's going to sponsor it. And then at that point, like, turn the ribs over, girl. You got rib, all kind of food places. It's going to be all kind of hair products and cosmetics, the whole nine, to the point that Snoop even created his own promotional company. Yep. I'm good with that. But as you say, miss me with that. You can go over there and watch that. I'm not paying $1 to watch that. Not $1. And if they ain't on the damn Fire Stick, I'm not watching. You mean to tell me you instead of seeing a real fight like between Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., you rather see Mike Tyson and Holyfield fight in Dubai for $25.
There are folks who would rather.
Well, you go ahead. I'm good with that. Yeah. I'm good with that. I catch the replay the next day after on YouTube.
Black, you got another one? Look at Black pulling out his wallet.
You said 25?
Is he gonna bite another ear? Oh yeah, I got to turn into that.
Look, that's what it's about words, but they go, my bad, I forgot the surcharge. So it'll be $69.99.
Yeah. This generation, I wouldn't
throw this out here, man, because I know she backed down from a tournament a little while ago. And she's always gonna be in our hearts, man. Serena Williams. How much longer do you think that she has to really basically dominate or continue to play out and dominate tennis and be in the tennis world?
Ice?
I'm not sure if she has anything left to dominate. I think she's more than serviceable. I think she's still a good player, but I think the time is passing her by. And it's not because she's not skillfully still a very good player. I think that time is coming up on her. Her body's changing. Injuries, and you know how Venus is really has been struggled over the years too. Certain times, and you see more younger tennis players coming up and kind of staking their claim to it. So I think maybe 2 years max that she's gonna be serviceable to play. Domination, I'm not sure that's even in her vocabulary anymore. And you can tell just because of the way she's doing it. She might have 1 week, you go, oh, she's back. But when we talk about domination, we're talking about consistency. And I'm not sure if that's something that she's going to be able to do over a long period of time.
Yeah, I think she's going to try to make one more run and or has one more run in her. But as far as dominating the sport, no, you got a lot of up-and-coming tennis stars that are really not really fearing her and want to stake their own claim to championships. And so I think she'll make a run because she's Serena Williams, and that's what she feels that she has to do, go in there and try to dominate. I think the domination phase of her career is over. She's very good, but you'll see flashes, I think, within the next maybe 2-3 years, but that's going to be it. She may win one, catching people off guard or catching people, catching them in their weak moments. And being able to take advantage of them because of her skills, but is on the winner side of her career. Black?
I'm gonna give her a year. I'm just hoping that however she plays it out, that she doesn't do damage to her legacy. I'm not sure if she can, but I would hate to see her stick around way too long to where it's just not worth seeing her on the court. I mean, I respect all she accomplished, all she has done, where she came from, but I'm wondering at what point she don't realize it might be time to just kind of step aside.
Yeah. All right, you got one more?
Yeah, I want to know how do you think the NBA believes they can get this All-Star game over on the people and get them to buy into it and know that it's not just a cash run. Simply from the standpoint of they're talking about having at the All-Star game the dunk contest at halftime. I mean, really? What the hell is this, the YMCA? North? Damn. I mean, seriously? Why are you even doing this? You name me, and then the fans don't even really believe it that it even is serious anymore. When you think of it, they said Klay Thompson is getting the most votes on the damn Hall. People vote for Klay Thompson. Everybody know he out for the whole year. Are they taking this seriously?
No.
Or they just trying to clown the NBA to say, this should not be going on? That's my question.
Black?
I think there's a lot of clowning going on, bro. Like I said this earlier, and no one really wants to say it, and I know they're in bed with ESPN. ESPN's in trouble too. Don't get me wrong. NBA's in trouble, bro. They are in trouble. So now you're going to see more of a dog and pony show, trying to get excitement, get things going. And their biggest problem that they have, I find it hard to turn them on now and watch, but I'm not their major market. I'm past, they want the 18 to 49, but the problem is, I'm going to say 18 to 30, maybe 35. They're not paying attention no more. They're not. They'd rather play the game on the PS5 and the PS4. They really do, bro. They don't want to sit around and watch a game for 2 and 3 hours. So they got some serious issues going on, man. And this All-Star game is a joke, bro. It does not need to happen. I mean, you can basically have people determine who's All-Stars, give them a trophy, have a presentation, make it fun, make it light, and move on. You should not try to put a game. It's not a regular thing, man. This season is not really a full-fledged regular season. Stop acting like it's normal when it's not. And they want to go like business as usual. And I'll go back to what I said earlier. 1 million viewers. I know people may not pay attention to Arbitron ratings, but guess what? Arbitron ratings basically set the tone for advertising dollars. And if you got 1 million views, I would advise you now to Google what shows on television that give you 1 million viewers. And you'll be surprised what shows that are beating them as viewership. That is mediocre, bro, at best. 1 million? And I said this before the pandemic started, the ratings were down. Nobody was going to the games. The ratings are worse. And you got people going to say, well, because it had nothing to do with social justice. People are tired of watching inferior play. They just are. They're tired of watching these high-priced, high-paid superstars that cannot give you a good competitive game to watch. And that's their biggest problem. I saw Kevin Garnett said the other day, you're 20 years old, you should not be coming in the league. Kevin Garnett, you can't say that, bro.
Didn't he play 20 years ago?
Thank you. You can't say that, bro. How you gonna, Kevin Garnett, how you? But that's the dumbness that goes along with this game. You made yourself a millionaire coming at 18. Probably couldn't read a book when you came into the NBA. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it's probably correct. Why you didn't go to college? Now you want to come in and fault someone else for doing that? But I will say this, the ones and dones, some of them have heard the true package of the NBA, and they're paying the price for it now.
I don't know. It's like the summer league, barbecue at the Park District, trying to play, the dunk contest in between. It's a money grab. I think people are clowning it. The fans are clowning it. When you put Klay Thompson in, you definitely clowning the NBA. And if they don't recognize that, then they have more problems than they thought. But I agree with Black is that it's been hard for me to watch the NBA for a long time. And you can just tell the play is not there. When you got college players, the women's game in college is a much quality game and more competitive games and games that you are actually watching from the beginning to the end and you're stuck to. and you watch maybe the half of the first quarter of the NBA game, you go, I'll come back in the fourth quarter. That's what I'll come back in the fourth quarter because they're going to go back and forth. They're running around, they're traveling, they're doing all this kind of stuff. And I'm not interested in human interest stories. I'm not interested in interviewing the coaches in between the games. And I'm not interested in all that. I want to see who's going to win the last 5 minutes of the game because that's the way it is right now. I know it doesn't matter what happens in between the first half of the first quarter and the beginning of the middle of the fourth quarter. Don't matter. I just want to see who's going to win the game. And so I'm in my 50s, and I can't imagine being I could imagine, I wish I was that age around 19, 35, where I was watching NBA basketball. I probably wouldn't be interested then either because there's so many other things to do than watch the NBA. And they're not making it sexy enough for me to sit down and watch for 2.5 hours. They're not. TNT is not. ESPN is not. They're not making me sit down before the games and listen to commentators. I don't care. I don't care. All I want is the results and the highlights. That's the way this generation is. I want the results and give me some highlights. Give me some dunks. Give me some, breaking ankles and stuff like that. I'm good. And that's the way this generation is. They're not like the older generation who wants to kind of sit there and analyze the game and kind of figure out what's going on. They're not the same. And so this All-Star game is I think their way of trying to, pull some excitement into it, and I don't think it's going to work. Ice?
I think they're doing the service to the league because you just finished in December, right? You just finished with your championship in December. You're right back. It's February, and now you want to come right back into a season that's really not even full. Instead of worrying about an All-Star game and trying to get a little money and whatnot, why wouldn't you primarily focus on the season and kind of say, hey, we're going to try to get it where people are healthy and we give you a better product to watch or something to the effect of where maybe a Phoenix is going to make a run. And then you go, we've been following them. Here's what we're focusing on. And they get to the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to the postseason and the playoffs. NBA basketball for years has been something people are turned off until the postseason comes. We'll see what happens there. But I think it's a joke. I think it hurts the brand. It hurts also Adam Silver in his commissioner spot right now because for a while you're like, okay, well, he's not David Stern. He's being a little bit more open. He's kind of newer type with the newer, younger generation, and he's making some changes. And you're like, okay, he's flowing with it, but he's still keeping the integrity of the league together. And I think he's dropping the ball with this cash run, particularly when your players are like, nobody want to play in this Bulls. I wouldn't be surprised people start, oh, man, I got a hamstring pull. I can't play this. I mean, dude, for real? I mean, you might see a lot of people opting out or just being there because they have to. And if you're just being there when you have to without the excitement, that's when people get hurt because you half-ass playing. We know what that's like. You're doing something, and not training and giving your full attention to it. You half-ass playing. That's why I said you might as well bring up some G League players and let them play and tell them that's the All-Star game because your top-notch guys are not really going to want to be there. I would not be surprised as they get closer that you see something come from the players' union about this.
I can't remember the last time I watched an All-Star game. I really can't. I can't tell you the last All-Star game I watched. I generally don't watch the All-Star game. The All-Star game is about the events around the All-Star game, not the actual All-Star game. And so I think maybe Magic, when he came back, I might have watched a little bit of that. But that was, 89? Something in the 90s? I can't remember. Last second shot, Black.
It's interesting. Someone sent me an interview for no reason, just sent it to me, and I was surprised, between Fat Joe and Floyd Mayweather. And I got to admit, man, I have not really followed Mayweather over the years, but the interview was real in depth. He talked about how basically people, question how he spends his money and how the biggest pullback and pushback he gets from people that look like him. And I saw another side of him, man. I got to admit, I have a newfound respect for him. I just do. And he talked about some things with his dad. And I think sometimes that we, and I'm included when I say we, sometimes we look at what people do and we forget that when you push all that away, they're a human being. And, they make mistakes and they're not flawless like the rest of us. So again, man, I'm going to tip my hat to this young man because in spite of all the things that he may have done wrong, this guy has a pretty good head on his shoulder. I'm happy to see that.
Ice, last second shot.
Yeah, I want to follow up on that because I think a lot of people don't understand who he is. And I'm not saying he's a perfect man outside of the ring or anything like that. But if you understand his upbringing and where he had to come through, where they literally were fighting in their dining room, in their kitchen, entertaining people so people can make money off of them when he was a kid. His story is amazing, the fact that he made it out. And he has a bunch of money now. A lot of people think he's crazy or stupid or dumb. It just shows you, as you said, Black, you need to really look deep into the man and find out what's going on, how hard it was for him to make it up to the point and what he's trying to represent. And last but not least, as I get off of this, got to say happy Founders Day to Wilberforce University, baby. February 11th, 1856. A lot of great people. Me and Puma came from there, still representing and making it happen, baby. And we getting even better. They even trying to do a little something with a little horse racing down there in the industry, trying to make some things happen. Call me. You know I got the answers.
My last second shot goes back to Kevin Garnett, who said that the players 20 years ago couldn't hang with the players this week. I think you played 20 years ago. But I think they're trying to really Bill Russell said it the best. It's about getting buckets. It's about getting buckets. A lot of these guys that they're talking about, or he probably referencing, didn't have a three-point line, didn't get to travel, didn't do all this stuff you guys get away with. And if they had the original rules of the game, I think the players today couldn't play with the players back 20 years ago. That's my last second shot. We'll be back next week. Peace. One love. To me, I agree with what y'all saying, looking at the guy and all that stuff. But a lot of what Floyd Mayweather did in his career to get all the criticism and stuff was self-inflicted.
But I'll say this. I'm not going to disagree with that. But if you were raised the way he was raised, you might have made those self-inflicted wounds yourself, bro. And I think sometimes we lose. I may have lost sight of that. And I didn't know much about his background, but listening to hear, we had our fathers in our life, bro. We know about his dad. His dad did some time. He did some things, and he saw some stuff, bro. So I'm always gonna give anybody the benefit of the doubt. But to hear, and when you think that he did some things, there's some things he did with women. I'm not gonna say he's probably proud at this point. He made some mistakes, but there's a different side of him, bro. And that was the first time I saw a different side of him and just kind of open up and just be, in a sense, be open and vulnerable. There's a few times I saw Mike Tyson do the same thing. And the only difference was with Mike Tyson, when he did that, he was in jail. Floyd's not in jail. So I respect that.
I seen Mike Tyson do it. It was a couple of years ago when he was in that interview where I was afraid for Mike Tyson getting back in the ring. I was really afraid because it was like there's some demons coming in his life that he couldn't shake, and he was coming back with them. And I was like, oh, this guy's going to die. He's going to die. Tragic death. Like, you see those heroes that, just step in one more time in the arena, and it's just going to be over.
I'm with you on that, too. I mean, but, like, when you look at – one thing I always talk about Floyd was inside the ring. Outside the ring, he's been a knucklehead. He's been through a lot of stuff. When it comes to women, he's been, been disrespectful, done a lot of things that most people would kind of go after him for. But considering all that he went through and how they came for him, and you mentioned about being self-inflicted, the one thing they could not take from him, and he was the baddest motherfucker when he was boxing, was in the ring, bro. That I can never walk away from. I've seen him fight in person probably 10 times, and I saw all of them coming for him, told him how he was no good, and I saw how the sport just dogged him, and they talk about him was too flashy. You had these commentators, especially the certain ones, that would always go after him and disrespect him, even though he was the champion. And I'm sitting there going like, okay, damn, really? And no matter when he was right, he was wrong, right? And then he put together a great team that's helping him control his money and live well. Nobody talks about that. Say what you want to, but when you start telling you he can get $300 million for 2 damn fights, bruh. That's crazy. Now, is he frivolous, like he's spending $20,000 like his quarters? Yeah, because he has like that. That's crazy to me. But at the same time, I don't know. Like I said, I know the story, and I know where he came from. Being from the Midwest, he could have turned out a hell of a lot worse. I'm gonna say this: I love Kevin Garnett. I watched him in high school.
I did. I
got to see him in person. I knew he was ready then. But to say that the players 20 years ago couldn't play now, I even went back to the All-Pro team just to look it up. We talking about Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, Karl Malone, Shaq, Kobe Bryant. I'm naming some players literally, even, and I can go on. Tracy McGrady, yeah. I'm naming players that, granted, the game is softer now. They let you get away with more. The athletes better right now are probably a little bit more faster, a little bit more athletic. But the guys I just mentioned, some of them could adjust their game accordingly to the point where they could get it done. Even with Garnett, they could make some things happen from that standpoint, and they would adjust. Because one thing these guys don't do now, they don't play no damn defense.
No.
You're going to find no defense. And you bring that defense from back in the day, because he talked about hand checking. They can still play you straight up, play a grown man's game. It's a lot of soft dudes playing in the league right now. You can't touch them. Ask Steph Curry. When Steph Curry first came into the league, he was skin and bones. They banged his butt up, and he had to get stronger physically, which he did, and now he's a grown man. But to say that these dudes now, I mean, you got shooters, you got specialists. I mean, all of these guys, and everybody's a specialist. Everybody, but you only see a few guys that you go, that guy's all pro. And one of the leading guys is LeBron James. How long you been playing?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, LeBron James.
You can't touch him.
Right, well, yeah, right. You talking about all of the old school guys, but my point of it is, you don't think Tracy McGrady could play with these dudes now? Who can check McGrady right now? In his prime, these dudes today, ain't no defensive players. Do they even have an all-defensive team anymore? That's what I want to know. But
can you imagine Karl Malone? Can you imagine Karl Malone laying out LeBron James coming through the lane?
Yeah.
The way he laid out Isaiah Thomas?
Or even, do we even talk about, when you talk about footwork, you might talk a little about Anthony Davis, but you don't talk about footwork like you did with Tim Duncan and Olajuwon.
No.
Are you kidding me? Just the IQ of basketball, right? Kyrie Irving with all his dribbling and everything, he plays when he want to play, but he doesn't have he doesn't use his IQ the way these other guys did. And another guy they mentioned, Gary Payton. Are you kidding me? The glove, man. So I don't know what he was on. I mean, maybe he just like, he been playing a lot of 2K because he is sponsored that. Dude, to say that the guys, I'm talking, that's why I had to go look at the All-Pro list to say who that, AI could play with these dudes. He scored 100 points. They don't play D. You say Steph Curry code. AI? Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Whoa. Come on,
it's disrespectful, man, because, you know, they're in the moment, and it's just like that time when Kendra Perkins said about LeBron being the best, whatever, and they understand the team that you play for. How's Bill Russell? They have no idea of the past, bro. They don't care. They're disrespectful towards it. And like you said, Gary Payton, that was defense. They don't rebound the ball. They don't play any defense. It's amazing that, and get paid well for it. But I'll say it again, and I was having this conversation with my son earlier today, and now he was saying to me, well, I don't really even watch. That's why, because I'm spoiled in a sense, and maybe we all are.
Yeah.
We grew up watching players that honored the game, that played well, played the game well. You got players that come down now, they get past half court, they don't move. They get the three-point line and don't move. Nobody goes off a screen. Nobody goes, other than Golden State, a little bit. Nobody goes back door. There's no cutting. What is that? What is a cutting? So you know why they can't rebound? Because they got a three-point line.
Yeah.
Half the time the ball is bouncing. It's like, and it seems to me, coaching, there's no more coaching in the NBA. These players aren't getting coached up. There's no way in the world you run a play. I remember years ago with Pat Riley, with the Knicks, every time they got the rebound ball defensive, Pat Riley would be like, down, calling out plays. When the last time I see a coach call out a play? I mean, on the sideline. These guys run down now, and as soon as they get the ball, they make one pass. You have three-point line. Nobody's on 10 feet near. Hoist. It's like, nobody under to get the rebound. It's like, and that's why I go back again, 1 million viewers, because people are tired of watching inferior basketball. They're tired. And let's be honest, the majority of viewers that watch that stuff, basketball, even, don't get me wrong, are white people. They don't want to see it anymore. They don't want to see that anymore. They just don't. They're tired of it. They're tired of turning on and seeing it. Because just like us, they have grown up watching better basketball.
It's like an and one mixtape sometimes.
Yes. It's the traveling and dribbling.
Yeah.
Offensive fouls.
It frustrates me to see violations. And, I watch college, and as soon as the violation happens, tweet, other side. And the NBA is like, oh, man, that was a travel. Oh, man, that's over the back. Oh, man, the wrong guy hit the ball out. It doesn't belong to them. It's like, and then you see, they're not setting up the plays. They're not playing defense.
No.
A team that's supposed to dominate another team, all of a sudden they ain't playing the way they're supposed to play, and the other team blows them out. Then you have them complaining. That's why I sent you all the clip about Kyrie. They lose, they drop like 3 or 4, and I'm like, this he's sitting there, this mofo here. I'm like, it's like, you get on these teams, you get your boys to play with you, you got everything set, and you still complaining. You still complaining that you can't get it done. Then you're making all this money.
I said this a while ago. At some point, Kevin Durant gonna realize he made a big mistake, bro. If he ain't realized it yet, he made a big mistake. And maybe it's gonna take them not making it to the finals, because that's where he's used to being in the last several years. He gonna realize he made a big mistake.
We'll see.
He gonna long for the days when what's name was up in his ass wanting to fight him.
That's an easy division. That's an easy division to win because Boston ain't playing the way they should be playing. I don't trust Philly. Milwaukee, they are 2 players away from winning anything. Toronto is still in the glory days of winning the championship. They're playing like Leonard is on injured reserve. He'll be back. When he can come back, we gonna nah. And they're talking in Chicago here that Chicago gonna make the playoffs. I'm like, Chicago and the Knicks are not making the playoffs. I know they're playing almost 500, but you can forget that. They're playing pretty good basketball. Levine and White, they're becoming a tandem, but they're not gonna make it.
You lived in Chicago. You live in Chicago when Derrick
Rose
was playing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does he got pictures of the head coach or Nick's wife or something? Because why keep bringing figure out to sit out 2 seasons and not play. Everywhere he goes, he brings him, and he ain't got nothing to give. I was in New York today, outside Massacre. Welcome, Derrick. For what were you walking around? What? Back to New York. For what? That should be one mad, man. I'm sorry.
But think about it. Think about it. For years, whoever left the Bulls end up on the Knicks. I don't know if there's somebody relatives. They got relatives between the Knicks and everybody that played for. You can name 20 to 30 players who played for the Bulls who end up with the Knicks. I don't understand it. They weren't good enough to be with the Bulls.
But let me say this: if I was a Chicago coach, if I was him, Derrick Rose would come out in pregame, slam the basketball, play around, and then go put a suit on. For 2 years from. I'm not bringing you around the league if you did that to me. I don't get it.
Hey, I'm telling you, they almost lost me. The NBA almost lost me. I remember a few years ago when they allowed that James Harden 5-step back. And then I was coaching basketball, and I saw kids trying to do the same thing. And I was like, man, this done went to hell in the handbasket. When I saw him go, he's not traveling. What the hell? Oh, my God. I was like, and you call that's not traveling? That's legal? 4 steps?
I can't watch him. I can't watch him.
They went from 1 step, then it was 2, then he took 4. I was like, are you kidding me?
Watch him. I can't watch him.
If somebody explain to me what the hell is a Euro step?
That's a Euro. Hey, you know what? That's a Euro step and a half. That's a Euro step and a half.
Yeah, European travel. That's what it is.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Horrible.
Like I said, bro, it's catching up with him. It's finally caught up with the NBA.
How many times have you seen, and I don't see it very often, if any, see the Euro step in college basketball?
No.
Tom Brady.
I don't know, man. It's funny because sampling all the talking this week from different people, and the quick assumption that a lot of people are making is that they fixed the game up. I mean, I think the refs' calls were a little ticky-tacky. I mean, they could let some of those calls kind of go. But if you're going to go to that, and we know different games, in my opinion, the refs do different things. But Kansas City got out-coached, got outplayed. It was almost like mentally they weren't prepared to play, bro. And it's just sad, but that's what I saw. Other than Mahomes, tell me the person that showed up to play.
Bro, I didn't even, I missed like the first two series. And then I was, fixing something to eat, sat down, watched up until about halftime. I just turned to cartoons, man.
Yeah, I mean, even I kind of did the same thing. I think I watched it to the third quarter until Fournette scored, and that was it. But I mean, Andy Reid and what's that? The assistant, I can't think of the brother's name now. But Enemy had no answers. When I say no, I mean I don't want to take a lot of time on this because I want Ice to come in and say some things, but I want to touch base on stuff that I saw from a distance where they just made no adjustments. And I got to give Ice credit because he talked about Andy resorting back to the old Andy. That was Philadelphia Eagles Andy in that game, bro. That was Philadelphia Eagles Andy in that game. I'm here to tell you. I'm not where he wasn't. He was afraid to change. He was stuck. And you're looking at him like, either you're going to turn it over to a enemy and go sit your butt down and stand on the sideline, or them two together. But it was just like, I couldn't believe some of the play calls offensively, bro. When you knew you couldn't block them, you got to change. It's like, I couldn't believe it, but, I'll yield a little time and come back.
Yeah. Like I said, I saw the first two pass interferences. I'm like, halftime. I didn't want to see the halftime show. I don't usually watch the halftime show. I start turning to cartoons, Mighty Mike on Universal Kids cartoon. That's my boy.
I did the Honeymooners, man. Old Ralphie boy.
Yeah, you went to the Honeymooners.
Yes.
You were drunk because you said the Honey Liners or something like that. I watched the Honey Liners. I'm like, oh yeah, he's toasted. Ice over there drinking his Christmas mug, enjoying the show.
Oh,
It really kind of got me that I really appreciate is that the coaching staff for Tampa Bay is mostly African American, and then seeing Tom Brady drunk, a lightweight drunk. I guess he had a beer or a shot of tequila or something like that, and they couldn't take it. They had to carry him away.
Did it take what away?
Had to carry Tom Brady away.
Wow.
Like a drunk white woman. Being escorted out the club. I was like, what a lightweight.
Wow.
Yeah, you called it.
Hey, man. I just think sometimes when you, I think we don't really look at how hungry a team is. And not saying that Kansas City really didn't want it. I think they wanted it. But I think Tampa Bay really wanted it, man. You've seen them guys, and I ain't trying to just say Brady was the magician or nothing, but that goes a long way. When you talk to guys and they haven't been there, you've been in the locker room, you know what it's like. Somebody tells you what it's like to win on that level, and then he been telling them for a while, y'all believe this, it can happen. And if nothing else, it put them in a better place to compete. I don't think they were afraid of them. They knew what they did against Green Bay, particularly the defense. If you had an MVP, I'm going to say it will be the defense for sure. and then the rah-rah that they roll with. But you know, say what you want to about Brady, love him or hate him, man. Dude is like, you know what? He just, I mean, you gotta. He has a way of getting people fired up. And I said this before. I've been trying to tell you all year. They was Kansas City was doing it, but definitely Tampa was doing it. They was playing possum. They was putting everything on the side and just waiting. Everybody like, well, Gronkowski only came down there. I don't know why he came down there. He ain't playing. He playing at the right time. How you catch 2 touchdowns? Everybody like, oh my God, what you mean? Dude like, well, we don't need you for the postseason. You want to play this week? No, I'm good. Okay. That's how they rolling it, man. Nobody really saw that. But you had a lot of hungry guys over there. I mean, cats like Fournette. I mean, Fournette, man, what? He been hungry since LSU. Hungry, just wanting to win, wanting to play. Antonio Brown the same way. Dominic Sue, you don't think he wanted to win? Man, this has some hungry cats over there. But I think when you look at Kansas City, a lot of stuff happened over there. And we can say about the refs, okay, got that. But we kind of know how that goes. But is the refs the reason why they only scored, 9 points? But I think there was a lot going on. I also think the one thing that nobody's really talking about and they're putting down is the factor that Andy Reid's son, man, that's real talk. I think that played emotionally. I think that had a little something to do with it. And you're trying to deal with that situation. And he out here wilding and you don't know what's going on. And then did they fly in the day before?
Yeah.
I think that was Friday.
Yeah, but I mean, for the Super Bowl? Is that how you rolling? I mean, is that how y'all ready to be prepared against a team that's playing at home? You can laugh at that if you want to, but a team that don't have to go anywhere. They probably been practicing since they came back from Green Bay. You know, so overall, hey, I wish Mahomes best. He's a hell of a quarterback still, but sometimes that will with other guys, not everyone having it or never having that taste of victory, it goes a long way. And it is hard to repeat. And I don't care what they say, the boy's foot was messed up. That's just my opinion. I'm not going to get that as an excuse, but you can just tell the way he was trying to, when he was running, he was kind of like tiptoeing gingerly, like, you know, he was like, you know, you run, you're like, all right, he like. Anyway, all I can say is, it is what it is. People pissed off. Brady 7-10, bro. You got to get that up. I'm sorry. I don't care. When you look at just records, dude won 7 Super Bowls. You've been to 10 Super Bowls.
5.
Whatever. You
gave him one.
It's an accomplishment.
I mean, yeah, I'm with
It
you.
is an accomplishment.
I mean, it is, but you got. I mean, we can always say a lot about stuff because we know that what was that? That super glue against
Gorilla glue.
Whatever it was. I mean, we ain't gonna talk about that. And I'm like, really?
Baby.
So
I would say this, man. First, I want to go back to Andy Reid and his son because I remember when he took the Kansas City job. One of his sons, he was playing in Philly. 2 of his sons, and this might have been the same cat. They were both playing around with drugs. And I think this cat now got arrested, one OD. And I remember then saying, when Philly fired him, he needed to step away from the game a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that. And it's like, at what point do you attend to home? And it's like, ironically, not doing so, it came back and bit him in the butt at the wrong time, in my opinion. I'm not sure if that played a part, but I'm going to tell you this, man. The play calling for Kansas City was horrendous. I don't care if Pat Mahomes had a patch on his eye. When you hit Tyreek Hill in the hands, in the end zone, and that ball hit his helmet, what's going on, bro?
Yeah.
He was rolling out, hit Kelsey in the hand. Boom. You can't ask more of a quarterback than what he played in that game, but he had no help. Yeah. And Andy Reid and Henemy, I'm looking at the play where they're going empty. You got 2 corners back ready to come off the edge. Why are you going not accounted for? And if you know he has a bad toe, you got to get somebody over there. Nobody called timeout. Nobody checked. It was like they didn't bring any other tight ends in. I'm going like, and then you get Olaire. I might be saying this wrong, but the running back, he's pounding for 8-7 yards. Guess what? We're going to drop back and throw it again. What do you I just didn't get it, bro. Their play calling, I'm not saying they would have won because I think Tampa Bay's defense, Todd Bowles, what he did in the playoff with that defense, Tampa Bay, and I don't know what they're giving homeboy with the one hand. but he ain't played that. He ain't never played that well in a Giants uniform. He ain't never played that well. That cat is like, that defense is something else, bro. But Tom Brady takes advantage of good situations. He put himself in a very good situation with Tampa Bay, and it paid off, man. I just think the league itself, a lot of other teams should be kicking themselves in the ass because, yeah, he won 7. How many more you all going to give him? He's 40-some years. That's embarrassing, bro. I mean, realistically, you can talk how great he is, whatever, but to other teams in the NFL, let this old cat at 43 win another Super Bowl? I would be pissed off. If I'm the Saints, the Packers, you got to be – I mean, that should not be happening. And take nothing away from him. It should not be happening. I mean, I said the same thing when Peyton went to what's the name? I don't get it. To me, I respect their talent. I respect Tommy. That's a great accomplishment. I take nothing away from him. But, bro, this is football we're talking about. We're not talking about tennis. We're talking about football. And I watched him drop back. They were coming at him. He went, they started doing stuff, taking 5 steps back. He was taking 9 steps back. That's adjustments, bro. That's what I'm talking about. How you not adjust Kansas City? I don't understand it. I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to blame the refs for that, man, because you got to win it. The refs don't take it away from you. You got to win it, bro. Now, could they call a looser game? Yes. I don't want to hear the stuff that was rigged. I don't want to hear that nonsense. I don't want to hear, well, football is rigged.
I really haven't been listening too much and watching.
People saying that.
That's what they're saying is rigged.
Yeah. Some people say, oh, football is rigged. Because my point is, if you watch football all year, and more than likely people are saying they didn't bet, because 85% of the money was on Kansas City. So you know the bookies, the Las Vegas clean house. So you would think so, yes. But you got to use your eyes sometimes too, man. Those pass interference did not basically take away the game from Kansas City. 3 field goals when your highest potent offenses, 3. No one else who stepped up for them offensively?
Hey, I tell you, it reminds me of that old adage. You remember, like, you were a kid or something like that, something's going on, and you see $100 laying on the ground. Somebody walk by, like, they're going to pick that up. And you're like, well, if you don't want it, I'm going to go ahead and pick it up. I tried to let you get it, but you don't want it? Oh, well, and that's Tom Brady. You know what? You don't want it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take it.
43, man.
You ought to cut out the bonuses he got. All that money.
Hey.
As Katie or my wife and kids would say, all these monies. All these monies.
And the fact that he got drunk, I'm like, hey, about time you showed who you are.
He was tore up. He was tore up. I was like, hey, you can't hang out with him.
Hey, after 7 wins and 10 Super Bowls, you deserve to be drunk. You could be drunk.
Somebody should stuck a microphone in him and ask him, how do you feel about Bill Belichick now?
They tried, but the guy whisked him away. I sent you the tape. They tried. It was like 12 seconds. They just whisked him away, and he reporters were standing out there like
this. He like
disbelief. He was like, hey, yo.
Hey, everybody talking about that. I love it. Let them in
Disneyland.
Man, let his hair down. But the wildest thing was when old boy threw the trophy on the boat.
I didn't see all that.
Oh my God! He threw the championship trophy on one boat to Gronkowski. the trophy from his boat to Gronkowski, and they had different videos, and they showed from Brady's point of view from his boat, and then they show another one, somebody on Gronkowski's boat, see the thing flying in the air and it's coming, and right when Gronkowski catches, somebody says, "Oh, and he catches it, and he's like, "Yeah!" I'm like, man,
they wild.
He probably said, "Look, if he drop it or lose it,
I got 5 more.
I'll replace it with mine."
I'll tell you something, man. Gronk, I gotta give Gronk credit, man, because even though he may have not done much throughout the season, at the right time he stood up, bro. And I understand about Kansas City. We all watched Tom Brady long enough to realize when he gets in the red zone, where's he going, baby?
The Gronk, yeah, everybody knows.
You're not double team him. I don't understand. And then the end of the game, end of the second quarter, we all knew they got the ball back. I don't care how much time. They're going long. Yeah. No safeties back to cover. None. Who didn't know they were going long?
They did that 2 weeks ago.
Yes. I mean,
when I saw that, I'm like,
running by himself.
Yeah, when I saw that, I'm like, I had enough. They did it 2 weeks ago. How you not prepare for that? How do you not prepare for that? Who's the defensive coordinator for Kansas City anyway?
Well, what's the guy who's been the Giants? I thought he was going to do better, but he had a bad day that day, man. Because,
we mentioned that last week.
He had a horrible day.
He's like, remember? Look, I didn't forget. I remember.
That was some dumb play call in there. You run a blitz at that?